Hello there guys, welcome back to another episode of E&Ftv. Today you'll see that I'm not in my living room, I'm actually in a beautiful office in the Strand. So I want to say a massive thank you to both of you for having us today. I've been really excited about this and I'm looking forward to getting into what we're going to be discussing as well. But thank you so much for having us here today.
Absolutely fine. It's great to set this up.
Oh, well, I've been looking forward to this and I know we've been talking about it for a little while. So guys, just before we get into this episode today, I want to say a massive thank you to you for tuning in to E&Ftv, but I really want to say to you, for us to continue bringing you amazing guests, just like Riley and Hayley, we need you to subscribe to the channel. Engage with the community, comment down below what you think about the episodes, but without you, we can't properly grow this channel. So please do click the subscribe button, and we'd love for you to join us. So, Riley, Hayley, finally we're here, right? So,
long time coming.
I know. So we've been talking for a little while, ever since obviously you came over, and we are going to get into that. We've got a bit of exciting news towards the end of this episode, so please do stay tuned towards the end. But what we're here to do today is I really want to talk to you about your backgrounds, what brought you to where you are now. Obviously, we want to talk about Nuvho, what it is, how it helps its clients, and so on and so forth. And I also want to talk about trends that you're finding in that external consultancy space, what you're finding the clients are actually looking for right now. Because I think that's something that we don't touch on all that much in E&Ftv, is really what the clients are asking for compared to what I believe is actually going on. And I want to hear all about that. I want to learn about that today. So let's start with you, Riley. Because I know off camera we sort of said we were going to start with you, so we'll stick to the script. I won't mess things up too much. So Riley, tell us a bit about you, your background, and obviously what brought you to where you are now.
Of course. So I always think it's important for me to, when I say start of my background, I've got to identify my greatest mentor, which was my mum. So I grew up in the industry from a very young age, lived in hotels, was able to, I guess, understand, and really get excited about how they operated, both the commercial and the operational aspects, really learning off of her in her experience being, general manager within the Accor and now IHG environment in Australia. From there, of course, whilst I learnt off that, I always wanted to play football. Never happened, like many people, but that is okay. And fell into the hotel industry, initially as a food and beverage attendant. Now, I can definitively say I was one of the worst food and beverage attendants you've ever seen. So very, very quickly moved into a front office reservations context 10 years ago now, which is crazy thinking about. It's gone so quickly. From there was really, again, enamored by the whole commercial process, understanding what makes hotels tick day to day, month to month, and some really good mentors within the Accor space as well for a number of years, both in the conference sales context, reservations leadership context, and then I got a call one day from a fellow colleague of mine, a former colleague, Melody Phillips, another amazing mentor, and she told me about this company called Nuvho. And potentially there was this gap within a revenue side of things. And to meet someone named Matt Dibbing, who was, you've met him. He's one of the, again,
quite a character.
He's very much a character. He's a lovely human being. He'll appreciate it. Shout out Matt. And
he will be watching.
And was technically the first Australian employee that Nuvho had at that time, and have been there ever since. So it's over 6 years now. We've been able to see everything, good and bad. When we started, COVID happened, which shook the industry to its core all over the world. And really got to understand from a different perspective on the outside how we can help clients. And I love it. I breathe it. Being able to achieve outcomes, being able to, see owners and asset managers and, general managers and, be very excited with what we can bring. It's what brings it joy. And that's what brought Nuvho here, really, is that what we see as the success of the model there and what we do, which we'll get into a little bit later. There was an opportunity in the UK that came up for both Hayley and I, and it was too good to refuse. And here we are, I would say. So almost 8 months later already, it's gone so quickly.
Honestly, you're absolutely right on that. The time has just flown. And to hear, again, off camera, the success that you guys are having and the engagement that you're having has been brilliant. And obviously seeing you both at so many events and seeing the connections that you're already building is absolutely brilliant. And I know that Matt and the team out there are obviously going to be incredibly happy and proud of that fact. Hayley, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I feel like everyone in the hospitality and hotels in particular, again, just fell in it.
Yes.
During school, I always wanted to work within the tourism industry. What that looked like, I had no idea as a 13-year-old. I just thought the great idea of being able to travel and work and see the world. I then went to university, did some more other study as well during high school, did work placement from housekeeping to restaurants to events. Going back, went to university, did some study. That's when I kind of fell in hotels. I actually started at the Accor Vacation Club on the Gold Coast in Australia. Didn't love it at the time. Didn't love it at the time. And then I was able to get a job as just a front desk, reservations for a small independent hotel. And my background kind of ever since has always been within that independent hotel space, starting from reception, front desk to front office managers, reservation manager, marketing. And then I got to a point where I was like, I kind of need a new challenge, looking for something a little bit more behind the scenes, not so much customer facing. And that's where I kind of fell in at Nuvho. I was really thankful that some of my mentors over the years, but my mentors especially at Nuvho, Sandra and Gemma, they took a chance on me. I kind of came in just before COVID. So it was, I remember that time. I think everyone remembers that time quite well.
Roller coaster,
Everyone's got a story about when the world closed for a period of time. But during that time, we were able to grow, we were able to build a team, and challenges with that came. But and now I'm here as a sales and marketing manager for the UK and building the team from there.
Well, I guess I feel compelled to say congratulations to you both, because again, it's taking the step to move out of industry, I suppose, into a different type of part of the industry is one thing. But to relocate your lives to the UK is another big deal on its own, right? I know just off camera I was saying, when are you guys looking to get back and see family and everything else? What was that transition like? And again, I know we didn't talk about this off camera, but that's got to have been a culture shock. It's got to have been a big step for both of you to make that decision.
It was, but what I think for us, and this is what I love about the hospitality hotel industry, it is so connected, and everyone has been incredibly welcoming to us. So it's certainly made that transition easier for us. I guess from a personal sense, I will admit the winter months are a little tougher, especially.
The sun's out, so the seasonal depression's gone.
True.
For now, at least, anyway.
But no, it's been really, really exciting, and understanding obviously the nuances of the industry here from a professional sense, from personal sense, being able to continue to grow and expand what we're doing in our professional and personal lives is that's the real exciting thing, and it's been an absolute ball so far, and it's going to continue for the long term.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think just following on from that, what's been really great is people in the UK, we hadn't even spoken to before we even got here, but there's been a few people in particular within the industry that we've felt like they've just kind of taken us under their wing, like yourself, Tom. And we're really thankful for that. We always reflect on that, and we just think the opportunity might not be there for us because there's just nothing that we can give them, but they've just been great industry friends at the end of the day, which has been pretty special.
There's a pretty amazing culture over here, well, in the hospitality industry anyway, but I've only had exposure to here. And I'm always, and I even put it in my sort of post today on LinkedIn, is that the community is so strong, and it's something that I've never experienced before in the way that my business has. And I have no doubt that you guys would be very similar in that fact. So moving on from you guys and now Nuvho. So for anyone that's watching this far, what is Nuvho? What does it do for its clients? How does it help the industry?
That's a great question. So the best way we could describe it is it's very much commercial expert consultancy. Okay. So that's within revenue management, distribution, digital marketing for hotels, online, offline as well, alongside active sales representation for hotels. And it's important to say it's not just hotel, it's accommodation providers. Yeah. So that can be from your short-term sort of stay apartment, builders. Obviously, that hotel sector is there, and we're very, I would say, flexible in that approach and what we can bring. And Hayley will go into this very shortly. It's very much can be a plug and play, and everything from shorter term engagement all the way towards full implementation and being a team essentially, and ingratiating ourselves within that environment. Yeah.
And I think that's why, again, the expansion into the UK, but we are trusted by over 250 hoteliers. Different property, not just in Australia, but I would say APAC as well, which is pretty special, and now over 3 countries as well, and expanding.
This is the thing, right? Is you guys seem to be on a real run right now, and the engagement is high. But the thing that I loved when we first spoke, and I was first sort of exposed, I suppose, to Nuvho, was your proposition is very much how you integrate within that business rather than focusing on being that external partner. And that's something that resonates quite a lot with me, because I'm very much someone that wants to be part of where they're at as a business. So being a consultant, I know you guys feel the same about this, but being a consultant, you want to be in the trenches with them, right? You don't want to just clock off and, right, that's it, guys. It's until next time. You know what I mean? Whereas you guys integrate. And the beautiful thing that what we're going to come on to soon as well is the types of clients that you deal with, because that's also a pretty interesting proposition in itself as well. So in terms of the types of clients, okay? So who are clients for Nuvho? What do they look like?
Everyone.
That's why I said that.
No, we do say everyone, but I would say our primary target market is within that independent, small to medium management companies. Yeah. However, we do work with a lot of the brands, chains, different star ratings, different sizes, anything from 30 rooms to 500 room beasts. Yeah. We can really kind of fit in anywhere, and that can, again, like you touched on before, can be really project-based, or we can be the full team. Yes. We can be whatever you want, essentially, at the end of the day. Yeah,
absolutely. And I suppose, what do you, in terms of that industry piece, and do you have, I know this sounds a bit strange, but what do you love about getting involved in a project? Is it the bigger stuff, or is it the day-to-day? Is it finding ways of fixing problems? What's your favourite bit, I suppose?
Specifically for myself or the business as a whole? Specifically for myself, I love winning. So that's the best way of putting it. I love winning. But I think for me, going back and what we bring in, if you had to ask, how do we help hoteliers? We have had situations with property managers, asset managers, where they've been in a level of distress for whatever reason within their business performance or anywhere, and being able to fix that and actively assist and implement the measures that we know that have been tested across many different situations that have worked. I think for us within that as well, what's really important is to acknowledge that I've got 2 mottos essentially with what we do. Customer centric. Yep. So it's very much knowing how you are viewed from consumers, because everyone's consumers in day-to-day life. Sure. But also being team first. Yep. I don't want to say we don't want to be seen as consultants, but we genuinely don't. We want to be seen as those team members, be seen as an active asset in that holistic commercial piece, because, and you might be able to comment on this a bit more than me, but I see the landscape changing a little bit. It's shifting very much to commercial overall. Knowledge is becoming so important across many industries, but particularly ours. And that's where we feel that's how we feel we can help the industry, whoever you are and whatever situation you find yourself in.
An interesting one, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, while people are tuning into this. Say we do have a hotel, right, or a hotelier that watches this and they think, this sounds like a great proposition. I'm gonna pick up the phone, right? What does that life cycle look like from when they contact you? Who do they contact you, Hayley? Do they contact you, Riley? Do they contract us? Like, how does it work? So if somebody watched this, I'm obviously going to put all your details down below. But what would that look like for someone?
So they could contact either of us directly, and it's a very high touch point initiation because we want to fully understand their requirements for the roles the roles that they require and what they want to see. And from that perspective, it's very much going through the journey, understanding that, executing that, and being really constantly engaged, like we are a team member. An active, an active asset to their team. There's no real difference in service that we provide. Everyone, is the most important client to us.
Absolutely.
And that's, a message that I have projected, for a long time since I've been with Nuvho and really wanting to project here.
Yeah, and it's obviously not a one-size-fits-all, is it? Yeah. So that's when that initial fact-finding and that initial sort of understanding of where they're at, and then you guys effectively adapt accordingly, right? And you, as we said before, you slot into what they currently have, whether that be you are the team or you integrate with the current team, and then you win, right?
And part of the I guess the customer journey or client journey with us as well, once the kind of proposals, negotiations kind of out of the way, and wherein we find some time, typically within the first month, 4 to 6 weeks, and we actually go and see the client themselves, if it's regional or wherever, so we can really, meet them face to face because we really value that. And, I think we're all a little bit over Zoom and Teams meetings these days.
I'd agree.
But also as well, we're able to see the property, meet the team, and again, continue to ingratiate ourselves with their staff members as well. Yeah. And we're not seen as kind of an us versus them.
No, absolutely. And I think that's so important. And again, that's what I love about what you guys are about from that integration piece, because it's not you against them or you and them, it's just you. That's how it works with you guys, and that's what I love. The reason I asked about sort of that client engagement and that life cycle is, what are you seeing from clients in the industry? What does the landscape look like from an external consultancy perspective in terms of what clients are actually looking for? Are you seeing anything in particular that there's a commonality there or anything like that?
Sorry, you go.
I think it really depends on the property or the hotel's goals, their budget, of course, and their aspirations. I think a lot of people can understand, owners can be very aspirational at times. So it's always about, kind of bringing them back down to reality a little bit. But obviously we want to, make those aspirations happen. So finding out that middle part and collaborating. And like Riley said before, typically when hotels come on, they might be a bit distressed. There's a lot happening and they kind of don't know where to start, which way's up. So that's where we find, again, we slot in and we can just iron out the stuff and the kinks and get into it.
I certainly think there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Okay.
And the reason I say that, there is so much talent and so many of the thought leaders in this industry operate in that sort of consultancy space. So what I feel for us is potentially a little bit unique, again, coming back to that commercial side of things, is that because we operate in that marketing funnel and that sales funnel and that revenue funnel as a whole, and there is a nucleus behind us of a full team that we have over 40 staff members that work within our organisation. There's really that seamless opportunity for us to be able to go in and execute. So that's probably where it's a little bit unique. But I would say for any consultants out there, that everyone's looking to get that extra 1 or 2% to their bottom line. So that's where I see the opportunity come through. Now, do I believe that every single opportunity in the world will some consultants wait? Of course not.
Sure.
However, do I believe there is an opportunity to be an asset to any organisations for whoever is out there? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's what we're sort of seeing, and I would say since we come into this market in particular, but also other markets that we've operated in around the world, the feedback has been quite good, and the demand has been there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's always going to be enough consultancy work out there for everyone, and
Absolutely.
everyone has their own talents, their own niche, everything like that. So that it really kind of depends on, again, at the end of the day, what that client is or that hotel is looking for.
No, absolutely. Now we move on to what exciting stuff is to come. And I think I hinted this at the very start of the episode, but we've got a bit of an announcement that we wanted to make. And weirdly enough, it sits on the anniversary of my business starting, which is quite cool. Thank you very much. And obviously, as I said to you off camera, I wasn't expecting it to be today. But anyway, we've got something to announce. So from my side of things, when we first spoke, and we've spoken on a number of occasions, face-to-face, over Zoom and whatever else, obviously our proposition is recruitment, whether that be long-term sort of solutions or of course shorter-term, fixed-term contracts and this sort of thing. But of course, with any hotel, with any environment that we work in, there may be those opportunities where companies like ours can collaborate in that sense of either they're not looking for, or after assessing what they need, it might not be someone in-house. It might be that they do want an external consultant to come in and help either on a project basis or on a longer term basis to integrate as part of their team. And of course, that's where my business stops. That's not what we provide. But what we identified quite quickly is that there is an opportunity for us to collaborate and work together. And that was something that I was really excited about. It builds an opportunity for us to be able to provide an option with a trusted partner, Nuvho, you guys to come in and provide a solution, whether that be while we continue to find that longer term person internally, or if you guys end up taking that contract on and becoming that team that you were talking about. I'm really excited. How do you guys feel about it?
Excited.
Incredibly excited. You know, it's been a lot of, you know, a few conversations you mentioned in the make, and it's been something, you know, we've certainly wanted to get off the ground. And, you know, I think the backing of yourself means so much to us as a business, and also us personally, because we know, one, the validation that gives, but we also know how we can provide that solution where you need it. So thank you for that. First and
Thank you. I mean, it's a two-way thing, isn't it? You guys are trusting us, we're trusting you, and it's one of those where our clients trust us all. And at the end of the day, if we have a solution that now fits any and all scenarios, it's a one-stop situation, right? And that's what I love about these types of collaborations in the industry, because we've got contacts, you've got contacts, we may have some that you don't, you may have some that we don't, and so on and so forth. But if we're all providing that top-level service in the lanes that we're in, our clients are no worse off, and they've got a range of opportunity to fix solutions in many different ways. And that's what I love most, and it's the proposition that you guys have. And the thing that sold me was that integration piece. It was that we are not your average. We are the ones that can come in and be part of that team, enhance what you're currently doing. It's not we're on one side and you're on the other, because that is exactly the ethos that we have at Edwards & Finn. So it just met so beautifully.
Absolutely. Customer-centric, team first. And that's how we operate in a very, you know, flexible environment in that way. So it's I think it's the perfect match.
No, absolutely. So there's going to be a lot more of us sort of catching up. What I'd love to do actually is to maybe towards the end of this year, we have a catch up just like this, and we find out how Nuvho's going, how the partnership's going, maybe some collaboration pieces that we've had. I think that'd be such a cool idea.
Oh, 100%. It would be amazing to reflect on that when the time comes, and you know, it's exciting futures ahead.
Absolutely. Well, Riley, Hayley, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for having us. We really do appreciate it. It's been great to finally get this done. For anybody that wants to get in touch with Nuvho, or Riley and Hayley more specifically, please do. I'll put all the details down below. You guys can get in touch, and as they said, they would love to hear from you and see how they might be able to help. Vice versa, if there's something that we can do on the back of that, then just let us know. But I want to say a massive thank you to you for tuning into this week's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you thought about the episode in the comments section down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.